Let's continue the debate with our guests. We have Mike and we have Steph joining us from the popular web YouTube series, Sexy Nerd Girl. Let's do this. Oh, I can't.
So far away.
I'm so far.
So we didn't send you a digital picture. We sent you a hard copy.
Excellent. There
Don't
we
worry,
go.
we get a lot of it.
New digital.
Amazing.
So, and this is Valerie,
This is Valerie LaPalme.
played by Hannah.
Hannah Spear, who is an amazing actress.
She's adorable.
She is adorable. Very, very fun to work with.
Yeah, it's a very cool series. Actually, would you mind if we, before we got into it, we just showed a quick snippet of your latest episode?
I would be insulted
Would that
if you
be?
didn't.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a taste of the adorable Valerie. Nerdy.
The Super Bowl is nigh, and as many people gear up for this monumental event, I, Valerie LaPalme, have come to a shocking conclusion. So-called jocks and so-called nerds have more in common than they'd like to admit. For example, we both like to participate in cosplay. Some nerds like to dress up as the Green Lantern, while some Vancouver Canucks fans like to dress up as green androgynous men thingies. Why not call a spade a spade? A green bodysuit is a green bodysuit. Nerds have an insane amount of knowledge on a particular subject. For example, I can rap to you the first 150 Pokemon without breaking a sweat. And a sports fan might be able to recite the 1993 lineup of the Toronto Blue Jays after they won the World Series for the second year in a row. We both love to congregate. Whether we're crammed into a packed stadium to watch a game or surrounded by hundreds of people at Comic-Con, it's hot, it's sweaty, it's glorious. Our gatherings sometimes involve the rich.
So there you
How
go.
about that? On topic, even. She's
I
talking
know.
about
Yeah.
how jocks can be nerds, too.
There's
Actually, that was really clever. I loved the comparison because it's true. As I was watching, I was like, yeah, that's right. Those sports guys can totally be absolutely.
Absolutely. Because nerds are just somebody who knows something and knows an arcane level of detail about a subject.
Right.
So you can be a nerd that works in computers, which is very typical, or you could be a mathematician, or you can be somebody who's a nerd about collecting spoons if you really want to be. If you know that arcane level of detail, you're a nerd. But if you're a geek, you are definitely into like sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, subcultures to do with TV, literature. Geekdom is more about escapism and rallying behind that and drawing it into the forefront. And nerddom is, so all geeks are technically nerds.
Okay, no.
But all nerds are geeks.
I didn't see that.
well, there's an interesting where the origins of the word. If we get into is this level of study is entomology or whatever it is.
This is it. We're
studying-
getting real nerdy right now. That's great.
As we're studying the
Etymology.
origins of words, where we're going back in time to geek was originally a word to describe people who are doing the sideshows at circuses. So they did exhibit a very unprecedented level of knowledge over things that might have been considered bizarre or possibly not part of popular culture.
Interesting.
But then they created a circus and everybody was paying to go and see them because they were just like, that's badass. I want to see bearded women. Who wouldn't?
Absolutely.
But I don't necessarily believe that women are bearded today who are considered geeks.
No, they're
Yeah.
just lucky.
They're just
Because they don't have to buy a beard ski now.
Yeah.
They
No,
just have a built-in
exactly.
beard.
But although there's something hilarious about like those, even the knitted beard face things.
For sure. Anybody would feel like a Viking wearing that, just screaming down the hill like,
Ah,
would be very epic.
okay, that's creepy.
So tell us a bit about your show. So where did the concept of Sexy Nerd Girl come from?
Oh, wow, Steph, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, actually, it's too bad he couldn't be here, but there's another co-creator of the show, Simon.
Hi, Simon.
And hi,
We
Simon.
miss you.
He's probably watching.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
playing Star Wars Old Republic on the
Come
computer at the same time.
on. Fine. Okay, go.
So actually, Simon came up with the idea of having like a main character who's a woman who is really, really proud and unabashed about being a geek and also confident enough to dub herself sexy. So it's
Amazing.
really Simon's brainchild about being a super confident character.
Talking about like interactivity with other online shows, have you guys had a lot of support from the online community besides just people who are watching the show, like media or whatever?
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of video responses, and because actually I felt really new to the YouTube world. Aside from getting sent videos and watching it, I didn't realize how great of a community it was. But she's met so many different YouTubers that we've done collaborations. We were featured in a music video by a band that we met through YouTube. One of our fans from out in the East Coast, he's a high school student. He's so nice. Has been following us from the beginning, and he actually sent us the video asking us to do a nerdy epic mealtime, which was our 100th video celebration extravaganza.
Amazing.
And it was actually his suggestion. So yeah, we've met a lot of people.
That's
through
really
YouTube.
cool.
It's really great.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I had another question, and then I totally gapped.
Was it how she's so adorable? I think black magic.
Witches. Next question.
She's always saying, bring us a pile of puppies and then don't ever ask about them.
Don't
anymore.
ask for it, and
my
then we don't see them again.
It is hard. If you guys know anywhere where we can find a bunch of puppies, please let us know.
There was a
And then
guy
where do we
selling
get
a
rid of all
bunch
this
on
blood?
the subway in New York, and it was disturbing people. Yeah, he had them. It was on Reddit.
Really?
Yeah, you know you're a Redditor when you're like, it was on Reddit. Puppies. Now I'm distracted.
Oh, I have a question to ask. Okay, so obviously, your show is very much, the format is first person, vlog, talking to camera, but you guys are now moving towards doing more of a third person
That's the cool
perspective.
thing, yeah.
So yeah, tell us about that evolution.
Okay, so right now, Valerie LaPalme is in charge of telling her own story. She's a vlogger, she's a Facebooker, she's, for all intents and purposes, online, a regular person.
Right.
And she's sort of in charge of what she's putting out there. But in reality, what we've done is we spent the last year and a half building this really cool character with our audience, and she's changed and grown with them. What we really want to do is do a web series about that character, where we actually get to see what it's like to be Valerie LaPalme outside of her bedroom, in a world where she doesn't have control over it, and you see shitty things happen to her, and you see good things happen to her, and you see what it's like to be a 24-year-old woman who has all this confidence, but also has flaws, and who has to deal with life, particularly her mother and her friend who could be a bit of a pain in the butt. So the idea being that that's the meaty, cool story that we now want to tell. Now that we've spent so much time getting to know this character, so that's coming down the pipe eventually.
Very cool.
Is there anybody who thinks that Valerie is real?
Yes. Yes. And we try to put it out there that and they make it readily available that she's fictional. Like at the end of all our videos, we put up sexynerdgirl.com, and if you go there, it says cast of characters, actors. Right on the front page, it says this is a web series, interactive web series. But I think it's also in a lot of cases a matter of people wanting to think it's real. Because they want to suspend their disbelief and really get into the show, because that's the whole point of watching fiction. Like you watch TV and you wish you could tell your favorite characters what to do or talk to them or ask them for advice, and with her you can. So I think people want to keep that fourth wall up.
Yeah, for sure.
For themselves.
Very cool.
And there are some people who don't get it, and when they do find out, they feel like, oh no, I've been cheated, I've been lonely girled, or whatever.
Yeah,
but
it was a huge scandal when that happened.
It was, and they sort of stole it from everybody. Like that's not something that can really happen anymore, which is cool because that's not what we're trying to do. I mean, it literally says on her YouTube, in her bio, I'm as real as you want me to be.
Right.
And people do sometimes take off when they find out. But for the most part, I'd say 80% of the time, 90% of the time, they dig it because they're like, oh, these are really
cool.
entertaining, I'm into it. And then they become staunch supporters. So when they see a troll come into the comments, all of a sudden you have this one guy who's like, man, if you don't like it, you just get out of here, okay? Because this is great,
You're like,
Oh
thanks.
my god.
It's awesome because at first, when we first started putting up videos, a lot of our comments on YouTube were like, fake, fictional, you idiots, this is fake, blah, blah, blah. And now, whenever someone writes that, they're immediately leapt on by people being like, who cares if it's fictional? It's entertainment. Haven't you ever watched a show before in your life?
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank
for
you so
joining us. You guys are great. Thank you
Lots of fun.
for...
This is the best.
That was a lot
We
of
have
fun.
t-shirts.
And seriously, kudos, you guys, for actually putting this together. This is amazing.
Oh,
Everybody watching, you have
thanks.
no idea how much effort goes into this.